So indeed, it is really an honor and pleasure for all of us to have her here in this afternoon session of this NEP orientation and sensitization course. So again, I welcome you, ma'am, and I would now hand over the session to you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is visible, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all. I would like to thank Professor Patil, Dr. Abdul, and UGC MMTC team members for giving me this opportunity. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the participants. Starting with the session on NEP 2020, Higher Education and Vision and Perspective. The very first question comes here is why there is a need of reformation in education system. See, as per one of the greatest motivational person, Nelson Mandela, destroying any nation does not require the use of bombs or the use of long range missiles. It only requires lowering the quality of education and allowing cheating in the examination by the students, right? Basically, education is a fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Providing universal access to quality education is the key to India's continued ascent and leadership on the global stage in terms of economic growth. Correct? Social justice and equality, scientific advancement, national integration, and cultural preservations. Universal high quality education is the best way forward for developing and maximizing our country's rich talents and resources for the good of the individual, the society, the country, as well as the world. India will have the highest population of young people in the world over the next decades. And our ability to provide high quality educational opportunities to them will determine the future of our country. Correct? Now, the Global Education Development Agenda reflected in the Goal 4 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by India in 2015, which seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. Correct? This fact we all are familiar with. Such a lofty goal will require the entire education system to be reconfigured to support and foster learning so that all the critical targets and goals of the 2030 agenda for sustainable development can be achieved. The world is undergoing rapid changes in the knowledge landscape, we can say, with various dramatic scientific and technological advances, such as the rise of big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Many unskilled jobs worldwide may be taken over by machines, while the need for a skilled workforce, particularly involving mathematics, computer science, and data science, in conjunction with multidisciplinary abilities across the sciences, social sciences, and humanities, will be increasingly in greater demand. Correct? Indeed, with the quickly changing employment landscape, the global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. Education thus must move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically, how to solve the problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt, and absorb the new material in novel and changing fields. Pedagogy must evolve to make education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry driven, discovery oriented, learner centered, discussion based. Then flexibility should be there, and of course everything should be enjoyable too. The curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, fitness, languages, literature, culture, capabilities of which completely depends on the capabilities of learners, and make education more well-rounded, useful, and fulfilling to the learners. Education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, as well as caring, while at the same time prepare them for gainful, fulfilling employment. The gap between the current state of learning outcomes and what is required must be bridged through undertaking major reforms that bring the highest quality, equity, and integrity into the system, from early childhood care and education through higher education. This National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of the education structure, including its regulation as well as the governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century education. Right? Education policy refers to the collection of laws and rules that govern the operation of education system. Why policies are important? Policies are important because they help a school or a college to establish rules and procedures and to create standards of quality for learning and safety, as well as the expectations and accountability. Without education policy, educational institution and unable to meet the needs of the students, right? And that's why the policy is very essential. The rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought has been a guiding light for this policy. The pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, and truth was always considered in Indian thought and philosophy as the highest human goal. The aim of education in ancient India was not just the acquisition of knowledge as preparation for life in this world or life beyond schooling, but for the complete realization and liberation of the self. World-class institutions of ancient India, such as Takshashila is there, then Nalanda is there, Vikramshila is there, Vallabhi is there. These are the set, these are the examples, or they have set the highest standards of multidisciplinary teaching and research, and also hosted scholars and students from across backgrounds and countries. The Indian education system produced great scholars such as Chakra, Sushruta, Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakrapani, then Panini, Nagarjuna, Gautama, Pingla, Shankardev, Maitreyi, Gargeyi, and so many, among numerous others, who made seminal contributions to the world knowledge in diverse fields such as mathematics, astronomy, then metallurgy, medical sciences and surgery, civil engineering, architecture, shipbuilding, navigation, yoga, fine arts, different types of sports, and many more. Correct? Indian culture and philosophy have had a strong influence on the world. These rich legacies to world heritage must not only be nurtured and preserved for the posterity, but also researched, enhanced, and put to new uses through our education system. The implementation of previous policies on education has focused largely on issues of access and equity. But the unfinished agenda of the National Policy on Education of 1986, which was modified further in 1992, is appropriately dealt with its policy, a major development since the last policy of 1986 and 1992 has been the right of children to free and compulsory education. The Compulsory Education Act 2009, we can say, which laid down legal underpinnings for the achieving universal elementary education. Correct? Its rich, diverse, ancient, and modern culture and knowledge systems, and as well as the traditions. The fundamental principles that will guide both the education system at large as well as the individual institutions within it, which was recognizing, what we can say, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic as well as non-academic spheres, according the highest priority to achieving fundamental literacy and numeracy by all students by grade 3. Flexibility so that learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories and programs and thereby choose their own paths in life according to their talents as well as according to their interest also. There is no any kind of hard separations between arts and sciences, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational as well as academic streams, in order to eliminate these harmful hierarchies among and silos between different areas of learning. Then multidisciplinary and a holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, then humanities, sports, for a multidisciplinary world in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. Emphasis on conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for the exams. Nowadays, we all are experiencing that each and every student is learning for the purpose of scoring the marks only. They are keen about only their grades, not about the quality, not about their skills. Correct? Creativity and critical thinking to encourage logical decision making and innovation. Ethics and human and constitutional values like empathy is there, then respect for others is there, cleanliness is there, courtesy, then democratic spirit of service, respect for public property, then scientific kind of temper, liberty, responsibility towards family, responsibility towards society, responsibility towards the nation, equality, justice, right? Promoting multilingualism and the power of language in teaching as well as in case of learning life skills such as communication, cooperation, teamwork, and resilience. Focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than the summative assessment that encourages today's coaching culture. Extensive use of technology in teaching and learning, removing language barriers, then increasing access for the Divyangajan students and educational planning and management as well. Then respect for diversity and respect for the local context in all curriculum, pedagogy, and policy. Always keep in mind that education is a concurrent subject. Then full equity and inclusion as the cornerstone of all educational decisions to ensure that all students are able to thrive in the education system. Synergy in curriculum across all levels of education, from early childhood care and education to school education up to the higher education. Teachers and faculty as the heart of learning process, their recruitment, then continuous professional development, then positive working environments, as well as the service conditions. A light but tight regularity framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency of the educational system through audit and public disclosure while encouraging the innovation and the out of the box ideas through autonomy, good governance, and empowerment. Outstanding research as a core requisite for outstanding education and development. Continuous review of progress based on sustained research and regular assessment by the educational experts. Substantial investment in a strong, vibrant public education system, as well as the encouragement and facilitation of true philanthropic, private, and community participation. Like I said, the NEP is the first education policy of the 21st century and replaces the 34-year-old National Policy on Education, that is NPE, in 1986, which was built on the foundation pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. This policy is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, suited to 21st century needs, we can say, and aim at bringing out the unique capabilities of each and every student. Further, if we are going to focus on these the different kind of features of this NEP 2020 at school level, this policy at school education ensures universal access at all levels of schooling from pre-primary school to grade 12. NEP 2020 aims to achieve 100% gross enrollment ratio in school education till 2030. The initiatives that will be undertaken for this include provision of effective and sufficient infrastructure, then alternative and innovative education centers to ensure that children who are dropping out of school are brought back into the mainstream education, universal participation in school by carefully tracking students as well as their learning levels. Counselors or we can say the well-trained social workers connected to schools, school complexes, and teachers will continuously going to work with students and their parents to ensure that all school age children are attending and learning in school. Then, in case of early childhood care education, NEP 2020 emphasizes on the critically of the early years to ensure quality. In case of, or we can say, early childhood care and education for all children between the age group of 3 to 6 by 2025. A national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care education for children up to the age of 8 will be developed by NCERT. The planning and implementation of early childhood education will be carried out jointly by the Ministry of HRD, Women and Child Development, that is WCD, Health and Family Welfare, and Tribal Affairs. The extent 10+2 structure in school education will be modified with a new pedagogical as well as the curricular restructuring of 5+3+3+4, covering ages between 3 to 18. This implies that there will be 3 years of curriculum framework for Anganwadi, then the preschool level, and 12 years for school in the 5+3+3+4 model. Currently, children in the age group of 3 to 6 are not covered in the 10+2 structure, as class 1 begins at the age of 6. In the new 5+3+3+4 structure, a strong base of early childhood care and education will be there from age 3. Then new curricular and pedagogical structure is also there. The curricular and pedagogical structure of school education guided by a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 design corresponding to the age ranges from 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14 and 14 to 18 years respectively. It will consist of foundational stages in two parts, that is years of Anganwadi or preschool plus 2 years in primary school in grades 1 to 2, but together covering the ages 3 to 8 with flexible, multi-level, play activity based learning and the curriculum and the pedagogy of ECCE. Preparatory stage, grades 3 to 5, covering ages 8 to 11, with the introduction of experiential learning across the sciences, mathematics, arts, then social sciences, as well as the humanities, we can say. Then comes the middle stage, the grade 6 to 8, covering the age of 11 to 14, with a subject-oriented pedagogical as well as curricular style. Secondary stage, grades 9 to 12 in two phases, that is 9 and 10 in the first and 12 in the second, covering ages 14 to 18 with greater depth, greater critical thinking, greater attention to life aspirations, and greater flexibility and student choice of subjects, and option to exit at grade 10 and re-enter at latter stage, grade 11. The curricula will aim for holistic development of learners, equipping them the key 21st century skills, then reduction in curricular content to enhance the essential learning and critical thinking, and greater focus on experiential learning. Students will have increased flexibility and choice of subjects so that they can choose their own paths according to their talents as well as according to their interest. There will be no any kind of rigid separations between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between the vocational and academic streams. The objective is to give equal emphasis on all subjects: science, social science, language, sports, then mathematics, with integration of vocational and academic streams in case of schools. The new and comprehensive national curricular framework for school education, that is NCFSE 2021, will be developed by the NCERT. High quality textbook materials will be developed by NCERT. States will prepare their own curricula and prepare textbook incorporating the different kind of materials. The availability of textbooks in all regional languages will be a top kind of priority in that case. Reducing the weight of school bags and textbooks will also be ensured by suitable changes in case of curriculum load. Then comes the attaining foundational literacy and numeracy. A national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy will be set up on priority to focus on early language and mathematical skills from grade 1 to 12 in 2025. Strategies include developing school readiness through interim 3 months play-based school preparation module for all grade 1 students, increased from on reading, writing, speaking, counting, arithmetic, and mathematical thinking. Continuous assessment and adaptive testing, national repository of high quality resources on foundational literacy as well as the numeracy. Filling teacher vacancies, peer tutoring, and volunteer activities, setting up school libraries in every village. A national book promotion policy will be formulated, and initiatives to ensure the availability, the accessibility, then the quality and readership of books across geographies, languages, levels, and genres will be undertaken. Then comes the multilingualism and the power of language. NEP 2020 lays great emphasis on promoting multilingualism so that children know and learn about the rich and vast array of languages of their country, the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 and beyond will be the home language, mother tongue, local language, or regional language, we can say. Every student in the country will participate in a fun project, activity, the languages of India, sometimes in grades 6 to 8, such as under the Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat kind of initiative. Sanskrit will be offered at all levels of school and higher education as an important enriching option for students, including as option in the three language formula. Other classical languages and literature from India, including Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, then Udiya, Pali, Malayalam, and Prakrit will also be widely available in schools as options for the students. Foreign languages such as Korean, Japanese, French, Thai, German, then Spanish, Russian will be offered at the secondary level. Indian social language, that is ISL, will be standardized across the country, and national and state curriculum materials will be developed for use by students with hearing impairment. Then assessment reforms, there will be a shift from summative assessment to regular and formative assessment, which is more competency based, promotes learning and development, and tests higher order skills such as analysis, then critical thinking, conceptual clarity. Board exams for grades 10 and 12 will be continued, but reformed to eliminate the need for taking coaching classes. Correct. Board exams will be redesigned to encourage the holistic development and will also be made easier for testing core capacities, competencies. All students will be allowed to take board exams on up to 2 occasions during any given school year, one main examination and one for improvement if desired. All students will take school examination in grade 3, 5 and 8, which will be conducted by the appropriate authority. A new national assessment center, that is PARAK, Performance Assessment Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development, will be set as a standard setting body for setting norms, standards and guidelines for the student assessment and evaluation for all the recognized schools, boards of Indian guiding the state achievement surveys, then and undertaking the national achievement surveys, that is SAS and NAS, monitoring the achievement of learning outcomes and encouraging and helping school boards to shift their assessment patterns towards meeting the skill requirement of the 21st century. Then comes the equitable and inclusive education. NEP 2020 aims to ensure that no child loses any opportunity to learn and give examination because of the circumstances of birth or background. Special emphasis will be given on socially and economically disadvantaged groups, which include gender identities, socio-cultural identities, such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBCs, and minorities. Then geographical identities, such as students from villages, small towns, and aspirational districts. Then disabilities, including learning disabilities too. And socio-economic conditions, such as migrant communities, low-income households, children in vulnerable situations, victims of or children of victims trafficking, orphan, including child beggars in urban areas. A separate gender inclusion fund will be created as also specific education zones for disadvantaged regions as well as the groups. Children with disabilities will be enabled to fully participate in the regular schooling process from the foundational stage to higher education. Recruitment of special educators with cross disability training and establishment of resource centers wherever needed, especially for children with severe or multiple disabilities, will be supported. Schools and school complexes will be supported, providing all children with disabilities accommodations and support mechanism tailored to suit their needs and to ensure their full preparation in the classroom. Assistive devices and appropriate technology-based tools will be made available to help children with disabilities integrate more easily into classrooms and engage with teachers and their peers also. Every state or every district will be encouraged to establish Bal Bhavans as a space for daytime boarding school to participate in art related, then career related, play related activities. The unutilized capacity of school infrastructure will be to promote social, intellectual, and volunteer activities for the community and promote social cohesion during non-teaching or schooling hours, and maybe as a Samajik Chetna Kendra. Then comes the teacher recruitment and the career path. Teachers will be recruited through robust, transparent processes. Promotions will be given on the merits, and a mechanism for multi-source periodic performance appraisals will be put in the place. Progression paths to become educational administrators or teacher educators will be available for the teachers. A common committee, that is a national professional standards for teachers, will be developed by 2022 by the National Council for Teacher Education in consultation with the NCSCERTs. Teacher from across levels and regions, expert bodies in vocational education and higher education institutions, etc. The standards would cover expected roles of the teacher at the different levels of expertise, stage, and the competencies which are required for that particular stage. This could be adopted by states to determine all aspects of teacher career management, including the tenure, professional development efforts, then the increments in case of salaries, then the promotions, as well as other recognitions. The professional standards will be reviewed and revised in 2030 and thereafter every 10 years. Schools can be organized into school complexes for cluster, which will be the basic unit of governance and administration that will ensure availability of all resources, including infrastructure like academic, library, and human resources. For example, art and music teachers, along with a strong professional teacher community. Then the next point comes as the standard setting and accreditation for school education. Regulation and operations of schools will be carried out by separate bodies to eliminate conflicts of interest. It is NVSAC to have clear separate systems, policy making, regulation, operations, and academic matters to ensure that all schools follow certain minimal professional and quality standards. States set up independent statewide body, State School Standards Authority. Transparent public self-disclosure of all the basic regularity information as laid down by SSSA will be used extensively for public oversight and accountability. Public and private schools will be assessed and accredited on the same criteria as well as the benchmarks and the processes, emphasizing online and offline public disclosure as well as the transparency, so as to ensure that public spirited private schools are encouraged. By 2025, at least 50% of the learners through the school and higher education system shall have exposure to vocational education. Begin with vocational exposure at early ages in middle and secondary school. Vocational education will be integrated smoothly into higher education. Vocational education will be integrated in the educational offerings of all secondary schools in a phased manner over the next decade. Towards this, secondary schools also collaborate with ITIs, then the polytechnics are there, then local industries are there, correct? Every child to learn at least one vocation and exposed to several more. A 10-day bagless period, sometimes during grade 6 to 8, to intern with local vocational experts such as the carpenters are there, gardeners are there, then different artists are there, the potters are also there, correct? Similar internship opportunities to learn vocational subjects to students throughout grade 6 to 12, including holistic periods. Vocational courses through online mode will also be made available. Now coming towards the higher education. Increase gross enrollment ratio at least 50% by 2030. The aim will be to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education, including vocational education, from 26.3% to 50%. Holistic multidisciplinary education. The policy envisages a broad-based multidisciplinary holistic education at the undergraduate level for integrated, rigorous exposure to science, arts, humanities, mathematics, and professional fields, having imaginative and flexible kind of curricular structure, creative combinations of study, integration of vocational education, and multiple entry exit options. A holistic and multidisciplinary education will help to develop well-rounded individuals who possesses critical 21st century capacities in fields across whatever we can say, like arts, humanities, social sciences, languages, professionals, technicals, and we can say the vocational fields too. An ethic of social engagement, soft skills such as communication, discussion, debate, and rigorous specialization in a chosen field or fields. Such a holistic education should be in the long term the approach of all undergraduate programs, including those in professional, technical, and vocational disciplines. The undergraduate degree will be of either 3 or 4-year duration with multiple exit options within this period with appropriate certifications. A certificate after completing 1 year in a discipline or field, including vocational and professional areas, or a diploma after 2 years of the study, or a bachelor's degree after 3-year program. The 4th year multidisciplinary bachelor's program will be the preferred options since it allows the opportunity to experience the full range of holistic and multidisciplinary education in addition to focus the chosen major and minors as per the choices of the students. Then an academic bank of credit, that is ABC, shall be established, which would digitally score the academic credits earned from various recognized HEIs so that the degrees from HEI can be awarded taking into account the credits earned by that particular student. Model public universities for holistic and multidisciplinary education. Multidisciplinary education and research universities will be set up and will aim to attain the highest standards of multidisciplinary education across the India. A number of initiatives will be taken to ensure the optimal learning environment, we can say, which can create it that are engaging and supportive and enable all students to succeed. All institutions and faculty will have the autonomy to innovate on matters of curriculum, then the pedagogy and assessment within a broad framework. Higher education qualifications that ensures consistency across the institutions, all programs and across the ODL, open and distance learning, online and traditional in-class modes. HEIs shall move to a criterion-based grading system that assesses students' achievement based on the learning goals for each program, and also move away from high-stakes examinations towards more continuous and comprehensive evaluations. Universities and colleges will set up high-quality support centers and will be given adequate funds and academic resources to encourage and support students from socio-economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Professional, academic, and career counseling will be available to all the students, as well as counselors to ensure physical, psychological, and emotional well-being. Then rationalized institutional architecture is also there. A new vision and architecture for higher education has been envisaged with large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions. Higher education institutions will be transformed into large multidisciplinary universities. College and HEI clusters, knowledge hubs, each of which will aim to have 3,000 or more students. A university will mean a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate and graduate programs with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. The definition of university will allow spectrum of institutions that range from research intensive universities, teaching intensive universities, as well as autonomous degree granting colleges. The system of affiliation will be phased out over 15 years and a stage-wise mechanism for granting graded autonomy to the colleges. Through a transparent system of graded accreditation, it will be established. Over a period of time, it is envisaged that every college would develop into either an autonomous degree granting college or a constituent college of the university. Again, NRF is also there, National Research Foundation. A new entity will be set to catalyze and expand research and innovation across the country. The overarching goal of the NRF will be to enable a culture of research to promote through our universities, helping to develop a culture of research in the country through suitable incentives for and recognition of outstanding research, and by undertaking major initiatives to seed and grow research at state university and other public institutions where research capability is currently limited. The NRF will competitively fund research in all disciplines. Successful research will be recognized and where relevant implemented through close linkages with governmental agencies as well as to the industry and private philanthropic organizations. Then financial support for the students. Efforts will be made to incentivize the meritorious students belonging to the different categories. The national scholarship portal will be expanded to support as well as to foster and track the progress of students who are receiving the scholarships. Private HEIs will be encouraged to offer larger number of free ships and scholarships to their students. Then open and distance learning will be expanded, thereby playing a significant role in increasing the gross enrollment ratio. Measures such as online courses and digital repositories, funding for research, improved student services, credit-based recognition of MOOCs, etc., will be taken to ensure as it is at par with the highest quality in class programs. Internationalization of education will be facilitated through both institutional collaborations and student and faculty mobility, and allowing entry of top world ranked university to open campuses in our country. Motivated, energized, and capable faculties. NEP 2020 recognizes that the success of higher education institution is the quality and engagement of its faculty. HAIs will have clearly defined, independent and transparent processes and criteria for faculty recruitment. Faculty will be given the freedom to design their own curricular and pedagogy approaches within the approved framework. Excellence will be further incentivized through appropriate rewards, promotions, recognitions, and movement into institutional leadership. Faculty not delivering on basic norms be held accountable. Then effective governance and leaderships in case of HEI through a suitable system of graded accreditation and graded autonomy and a phased manner over a period of 15 years, all HEIs in India will aim to become independent, self-governing institutions, pursuing innovation as well as excellence. Measures will be taken at all HEIs to ensure leadership of highest quality, promote an institutional culture of excellence, institutional governance based on autonomy, academic, administrative, and financial, with each higher education institution having an board of governance. All leadership positions and head of institutions will be offered to persons with high academic qualifications and demonstrated administrative and leadership capabilities, with abilities to manage complex kind of situations. Regulations, there will be a single overreaching umbrella body for promotion of higher education. The Higher Education Commission of India, with independent bodies for standard setting, the Central Education Council, Funding Higher Education Grants Council, Accreditation, National Accreditation Council, and Regulation, National Higher Education Regulatory Council. Regulations will be light but tight to ensure financial probity and public spiritedness, to eliminate the conflicts of interest, with transparent self-disclosure as the norm, not an inspectoral regime. The regularity body with function through a faceless intervention through technology for regulation, and which will have powers to penalize HEIs not conforming to norms and standards. Public and private higher education institutions will be governed by the same set of norms for regulation, accreditation, and academic standards. Then comes the 4-year integrated stage specific, then subject specific Bachelor of Education offered at multidisciplinary institutions would be the way forward. A new and comprehensive national curriculum framework for the teacher education will be formulated by the NCTE in consultation with the NCERT. The minimum degree qualification for teaching will be 4-year integrated B.Ed course, degree that teaches a range of knowledge, content, and pedagogy and includes strong practicum training in the form of subject teaching at local schools. Stringent action will be taken against substandard and standalone teacher education institutions, that is TEIs. A national mission for mentoring shall be established with a large pool of outstanding senior retired kind of faculties, including those with the ability to teach in Indian languages who would be willing to provide short and long-term mentoring, professional support to university or the college teachers. All professional education will be an integral part of the higher education system. Standalone technical universities, health science universities, legal and agricultural universities or institutions in these or other fields will aim to become multidisciplinary institutions. Then technology in case of education, an autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, will be created to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas on the technology to enhance learning, then assessment, then planning and administration. Appropriate integration of technology into all levels of education will be done to improve classroom processes, support teacher professional development, enhance educational access for disadvantaged groups, and streamline educational planning, administration, and management. Technology-based education platforms such as Diksha, Swayam will be better integrated across school and higher educations. HEIs will play an active role in conducting research on disruptive technologies and in creating instructional materials and courses, including online courses in cutting-edge domains. A comprehensive set of recommendations for promoting online education consequent in the recent epidemics and pandemics in order to ensure preparedness with alternative modes of quality education. Whenever and wherever traditional and in-person modes of education are not possible has been covered. A dedicated unit for purpose of orchestrating the building of digital infrastructure, digital content, and capacity building will be created in the MHRD to look after the e-education norms of both school as well as the higher education. The policy aims to achieve 100% youth and adult literacy to ensure the preservation, growth, and vibrancy of all Indian languages. This serves initiative are envisaged. More HEIs and more programs in higher education will use the mother tongue, then the local languages as a medium of instruction and or programs bilingually in order to increase access and gross enrollment ratio and also to promote the strength, usage and vibrancy of all Indian languages and Indian institution or institute of translation and interpretation will be established. Sanskrit and all India language institutes and departments across the country will be significantly strengthened. National Institute for Pali, Persian, and Prakrit will be set up. Efforts to preserve and promote all Indian languages, including classical, tribal, and endangered languages, will be undertaken. Multiple mechanisms with checks and balances will combat and stop the commercialization of higher education. All educational institutions will be held for similar standards of audit and disclosure as a not for profit entity. The center, the state will work together to increase the public investment in education sector to reach 60% of the GDP at the earliest. The Central Advisory Board of Education will be strengthened to ensure coordination to bring overall focus on quality education. The remodeled and rejuvenated CAB shall also be responsible for developing, articulating, evaluating, as well as revising the vision of education in the country on a continuous basis in close collaboration with MHRD and the corresponding apex bodies states. It shall also create and continuously review the institutional framework that shall help attain this vision. Here, I would like to mention the two notable observations from the Supreme Court of India. That is, today's education system failed to reform human behavior. Then, with increase in literacy level, there is decline in human values in the society. And hence, this is a call for transformation in education system. Moving ahead towards principles and visions of NEP 2020. This NEP 2020 is approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29th July 2020 to look for many transformative changes in Indian education system. Which outlines the vision of India's new education system. NEP will lay the foundation for 21st century India, where we are imagining the Skill India movement, improvement in quality of higher educational institutions, which will be at par with the global standards. Whatever education we are providing before the implementation of NEP 2020 was not up to the mark. And that's why some changes or the reformation is required. Recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teacher as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic as well as non-academic sphere. Flexibility so that learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories on programs and therefore choose their own paths, as we have discussed previously. There are no any kind of hard separations between the streams, between the faculties, whichever the students are going to change. Multidisciplinary and a holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, and sports for a multidisciplinary world in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledges. Emphasis will be given on conceptual outstanding rather than rote learning and learning for the examinations. Creativity and critical thinking to encourage the logical decision making and innovation, which is the need of the hour. Ethics and human constitution values like empathy, respect for others, these kind of things are missing nowadays. And that's why it's a need to inculcate all such type of characteristics into the students, promoting multilingualism and the power of language in teaching as well as in case of learning. Again, the life skills are required, such as communication, cooperation, teamwork, resilience, focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than the summative assessment, which is going to encourage the 2 days coaching culture, or we can say the traditional method of teaching, extensive use of technology in teaching and learning. Here we are going to remove the language barriers, equal respect for diversity and respect for the local context in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy, always keeping in mind that education is a concurrent subject. Full equity and inclusion as the cornerstone of all educational decisions to ensure that all students are able to thrive in the education system. Synergy in curriculum across all levels of education, from early childhood care and education to school education to higher education. Teachers and faculty as the major component of the learning process. So their recruitment, continuous professional development, positive working environments, and service conditions, that also will be taken care of under this NEP 2020. The regulatory framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency of the educational system through audit and public disclosure, while encouraging the innovation and out of the box ideas through autonomy, good governance, and empowerment. Continuous review of progress based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational expert. We are going to focus on outcome based learnings, a rootedness and pride in India and its rich, diverse, ancient, and modern culture and knowledge system and traditions. Substantial investment in a strong, vibrant public education system, as well as the encouragement and facilitation of true philanthropic and community participation. Hence, this is the need for national education policy. The vision of NEP 2020 is national education policy envisions an Indian-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. How? By providing high quality education to all, to each and every person. Transform India into an equitable and vibrant knowledge by providing high quality education to all, and thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. Curriculum and pedagogy of our institutions must develop among the student a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and conscious awareness of one's role and responsibility in a changing world. Instill among a learner a deepest rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and disposition, which is going to support a responsible commitment to the human rights, sustainable development, and living and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global kind of citizen, right? In 1986, the National Policy on Education was implemented, which was then further modified in 1992, which gave Right to Education Act in 2009. And now on 29th July 2020, again the NEP is implemented. The first one is National Policy on Education, and now we are having National Education Policy, which is focusing towards the quality education. The previous one, access and equity, that is availability as well as fairness. And now we are focusing, the NEP 2020 is focusing towards the quality education. In case of NEP 2020, as we are focusing on the quality of the education, the designing vision and framework is completely changing for the school education as well as for the higher education. Here we are going to focus towards the NEP 2020 higher education. We are having the introduction of a 5+3+3+4 model. This is our existing model before the implementation of NEP. And this is new academic system, which we have implemented this year. The major aim of higher education is to develop good, thoughtful, well-rounded and creative individuals, to develop character, ethical and constitutional values, intellectual curiosity, scientific temper, creativity, spirit of service, and 21st century skills to enable personal accomplishment, constructive public engagement, and productive contribution to the society. Just a moment. Okay. See, higher education plays an extremely important role in promoting human as well as societal well-being and in developing India as a envision in its constitution, a democratic, just, socially conscious, cultured, and human nation, upholding liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice for all. Higher education significantly contributes towards becoming a knowledge economy and society. More and more young Indians are likely to aspire for education. As per the 21st century requirements, quality higher education must aim to develop good, thoughtful, well-rounded and creative individuals. Correct? A quality higher education must enable personal accomplishment and enlightenment, constructive public engagement, and productive contribution to the society. It must prepare students for more meaningful and satisfying lives and work roles and enable economic independences. For the purpose of developing the holistic individuals, it is essential that an identified set of skills and value will be incorporated at each stage of learning from preschool to the higher education. At the societal level, higher education must enable the development of an enlightened, socially conscious, knowledgeable, and skilled nation that can find and implement robust solutions to its own problems. Higher education must form the basis for knowledge creation and innovation, thereby contributing to a growing national economy. The purpose of quality higher education is therefore more than the creation of greater opportunities for the individual employment. It represents the key to more vibrant, socially engaged, cooperative communities and a happier, cohesive, cultured, productive, and what we can say, innovative, progressive, and prosperous nation. But when we are going to achieve this, when successfully we are going to implement the NEP 2020. Some of the major problems currently faced by the higher education system in India are a severely fragmented higher educational ecosystem, less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes, correct? A rigid separation of disciplines with early specialization and streaming of students into narrow areas of study. Again, limited access, particularly in socio-economically disadvantaged areas with few HEIs that teach in local languages. Again, there is limitations for the teacher, as well as institutional autonomy, inadequate mechanism for merit-based career management and progression of faculty and institutional leaders. Lesser emphasis on the research at most universities and colleges, and lack of competitive peer-reviewed research funding across the various disciplines. Suboptimal governance and leaderships of HEIs, and ineffective regularity system, and large affiliating universities which are resulting in low standards of undergraduate education. Being the faculty members, we are witnessing it. Right, every year, how many of the students are getting placements? Even though the placement drives we are organizing at our campus only. Correct? So this policy envisions a complete overhaul and re-energizing of the higher education system to overcome these challenges and thereby deliver high quality higher education with equity and inclusion. The policy's vision includes moving towards a higher educational system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges with at least one in or near every district, and with more HEIs across India that offer medium of instructions or programs in local or Indian languages. Moving towards a more multidisciplinary undergraduate education, moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support for enhanced student experiences. Reaffirming the integrity of faculty and institutional leadership positions through merit appointments and career progression based on teaching, research, and services. Establishment of a national research foundation to fund outstanding peer-reviewed research and to actively speed research in universities and colleges. Governance of HEIs by high qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. Increased access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures. including greater opportunities for outstanding public education, then scholarships by private philanthropic universities for disadvantaged and underprivileged kind of students, online education, ODL, and all infrastructure and learning materials which are accessible and available to the learners. The main thrust of this policy regarding higher education is to end the fragmentation of higher education by transforming higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary universities. Moving to a large multidisciplinary universities and HEI cluster is thus the highest recommendation of this policy regarding the structure of higher education. The ancient Indian universities, that is Takshila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, Vikramshila, which had thousands of students from India and the world studying in vibrant multidisciplinary environments, amply demonstrated the type of great success that large multidisciplinary research and teaching universities could bring. So India urgently needs to bring back this great Indian tradition to create well-rounded and innovative individuals, which is already transforming other countries educationally as well as economically. This vision of higher education will require, in particular, a new conceptual perception or the understanding for what constitutes a higher education institution, that is, university or a college. A university will mean a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate and graduate programs with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. The definition of university will thus allow a spectrum of institutions that range from those that place equal emphasis on teaching and research, that is, research intensive universities, those that place greater emphasis on teaching but still conduct significant research, that is, teaching intensive universities. Meanwhile, an autonomous degree granting colleges will refer to a large multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that grants undergraduate degrees and is primarily focused on undergraduate teaching, though it would not be restricted to that, and it need not be restricted to, and it would generally be smaller than a typical university. Again, a stage-wise mechanism for granting graded autonomy to the colleges through a transparent system of graded accreditations, which will be established. Colleges will be encouraged, mentored, supported, and incentivized to gradually attain the minimum benchmarks required for each level. Each level of accreditation over a period of time. It is envisaged that every college would develop into either an autonomous degree granting college or a constituent college of a university. In the latter case, it would be fully a part of university with appropriate accreditations. Autonomous degree granting colleges could evolve into research intensive or teaching intensive universities if they so aspire. It must be clearly stated that these three broad types of institutions are not in any natural way rigid, exclusionary, categorization, but are along a continuum. HEIs will have the autonomy and freedom to move gradually from one category to another based on their plans, actions, and effectiveness. The most silent marker for these categories of institutions will be the focus of their goals and their work. The accreditation system will develop and use appropriately different and relevant kind of norms across this range of HEIs. However, the expectations of high quality of education and of teaching learning across all HEIs will be the same. In addition to teaching and research, HEIs will have other crucial responsibility, which they will discharge through appropriate resourcing, incentives, and structures. These include supporting other HEIs in their development, community engagement and service, contribution to various fields of practice, faculty development for the higher education system, and support to the school education. By 2040, all higher education institutions shall aim to become multidisciplinary institutions and shall aim to have larger student enrollments. Preferably in thousands. For optimal use of infrastructure and resources and for the creation of vibrant multidisciplinary communities. But this process will take time. More HEIs shall be established and developed in underserved regions to ensure full access, equity, and inclusion. There shall be at least one large multidisciplinary HEI in or near every district. Steps shall be taken towards developing high quality higher education institutions, both public and private, that have medium of instructions in, again, local and Indian languages or bilingually. Growth will be in both public and private institutions, with a strong emphasis on developing a large number of outstanding public institutions. There will be a fair and transparent system for determining increased levels of public funding support for public HEIs. This system will give an equitable opportunity for all public institutions to grow as well as to develop. Institution will have the option to run open distance learning and online programs, provided they are accredited to do so, in order to enhance their offerings, improve access, increase GAR, and provide opportunities for lifelong learning. All ODL programs and their components leading to any diploma or degree will be of standard and quality equivalent to the highest quality programs which are run by the HEIs on their campuses. Top institutions accredited for ODL will be encouraged and supported to develop the high quality online courses. Such quality online courses will be suitably integrated into curricula of HEIs, and blended mode will be preferred. Single stream HEIs will be phased out over time and will move towards becoming vibrant multidisciplinary institutions or parts of vibrant multidisciplinary HEI cluster in order to enable and encourage high quality multidisciplinary and cross disciplinary teaching and research across the fields. Single stream HEIs will, in particular, add departments across different fields that would strengthen the single stream that they currently serve. Through the attainment of suitable accreditations, all HEIs will gradually move towards full autonomy, academic and administrative, in order to enable this vibrant culture. The autonomy of public institutions that will be backed by adequate public financial support. Private institutions will, with a public spirited commitment to high quality, equitable education, which will be encouraged. The new regulatory system will foster this overall culture of empowerment and autonomy to innovate, including by gradually phasing out the system of affiliated colleges over a period of 15 years through a system of graded autonomy, and to be carried out in a challenging mode. Each existing affiliating university will be responsible for mentoring its affiliated colleges so that they can develop their capabilities and achieve minimum benchmarks in academic and curricular matters, teaching and assessment, governance reforms, financial robustness, and administrative efficiency. All colleges currently affiliated to university shall attain the required benchmarks over the time to secure the prescribed accreditation benchmarks and eventually become autonomous degree granting colleges. This will be achieved through a concerned national effort, including suitable mentoring and governmental support for the same. These are the 4 pillars of NEP 2020. National Education Policy 2020 envisions a massive transformation in education through an education system rooted in India ethos that contributes directly to the transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. The NEP 2020 is founded on the 5 guiding pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. It will prepare our youth to meet the diverse national and global challenges of the present and the future. The National Education Policy 2020 stresses on the core values and principles that education must develop, not only the cognitive skills, that is both fundamental skills of literacy and numeracy, and higher order skills too, such as critical thinking and problem solving. But also social and emotional skills are also referred as the soft skills, including cultural awareness and empathy, perseverance and grit. Moving ahead towards the curriculum framework. Curriculum is a foundation of education and provides for instruction. Curriculum is a key drive of the entire instructional system, which is encompassing teaching, learning, pedagogy, and assessment. Subsystem assessment is an integral part of the instructions. Innovative and responsive curriculum. Then, curriculum framework talks about national education, which is an important component of CCE. It aims to develop national cohesion, cultivate the instinct for survival as a nation, and instill in our students confidence. Curriculum provide direction for industrial revolution, that is 4.0, and hence is a way of describing the blurring of boundaries between the different discipline or the programs, we can say, under engineering, technology, humanities, social sciences, general sciences, management, pharmacy, vocational education, etc., under the umbrella of HE, to promote multidisciplinary education in case of universities. Multidisciplinary and holistic education is very essential, that we have just discussed in detail. The thin boundaries of separation of discipline required. The emphasis is given on development of learning outcomes for cognitive, psychomotor, and effective domain, embedding the entrepreneurship development for orienting and enhancing self-employment awareness, holistic development or continuous and comprehensive development of all individuals. Just a moment. Study on more specialized areas of interest at a deep level: character, ethical and constitutional values, intellectual curiosity, then scientific temper, creativity, spirit of service, and 21st century capabilities across a range of disciplines, which are including in case of science, social science, humanities, languages, as well as professional and technical as well as the vocational subjects, embedding soft skills like leadership, creativity, analytical abilities, communication skills, values, attitudes, for preparing students to develop the social skills to contribute effectively and efficiently at home, at society, and also towards his or her profession. Focus on use of developing learning material in regional languages, promoting multilingual and the power of languages in teaching and learning. Focus on development of effective teaching, learning, integration of technology using ICT-based tools, moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support for enhanced students' experiences. Establishment of a national research foundation to found outstanding peer-reviewed research and to actively seed research in universities as well as at college level. It will act as a peak body that will foster the strong research culture and build research capacity covering under the higher educations. Governance of HEIs by high qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy is also a kind of requirement. Life skills, again, then phasing out single stream HEIs to vibrant multidisciplinary institutions, phasing out the system of affiliated colleges after suitable accreditation benchmarks, academic, administrative, financial reforms. They may be converted into autonomous degree granting colleges, which will be granted graded autonomy in case of phased manner. Flexible curricular structure, imaginative and flexible curricular structures with combination of disciplines with multiple entry and exit system and creating new possibilities for lifelong learning. Research specialization, rigorous research-based specialization for multidisciplinary work in academia, in case of government, and as well as in case of industry. Internships, industrial training, that is practical experience with local industry, business, artists, the craft persons, we can say, credit-based courses and projects, areas which are related to community engagements and services, environmental education, as well as the value-based education. Environment education will include areas such as climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation of biological diversity, management of biological resources and biodiversity, forest and wildlife conservation, and sustainable development and living. Value-based education, development of humanistic, ethical constitution, and universal human will be considered as the integral part of a holistic education. Research and innovation, focus on research and innovation by setting up startup incubation centers, technology development centers, inclusion of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, that is counseling, support to ensure physical, psychological, as well as the emotional well-being of the students. Support system for the ODL, norms, standards, and guidelines for systematic development, Regulation and accreditation of ODL will be prepared and a framework for the quality of ODL that will be recommendatory. Flexible curricular structure is there, multiple entry exit options are there, then whatever syllabus or whatever options we are providing, those are choice based credit system. Opportunities for lifelong learning, accumulation of the credits, that is academic bank of credits, duration of programs and choice of programs. The structure of NEP has provided all these 6 criteria. The students can select the programs as per their interest. Mode of learning, again, ODL, online learning, such different types of platforms we are using. The student can learn at one's own pace. Multiple entry and exit option we are providing to the students. So as per his or her convenience, the student can complete his education. Vertical and horizontal mobility across the different discipline as per accumulation of the credits. At PG level, advanced research oriented courses may be included with the flexibility. The curriculum is included open electives courses to develop soft skills, professional courses on cutting edge technology, multidisciplinary, community based social projects. Few courses may be offered in collaboration with the overseas universities. Emphasis is given on modern tool usage to make globally competent curricula. How we are going to offer the collaboration with overseas universities? Previously, we were having the faculty exchange and student exchange kind of programs, correct? Now, the NEP itself is offering you the opportunities to collaborate with the overseas universities, where you can create your own curriculum. You can create your own credit courses, which the students can be benefited out of it. Emphasis on self-employment and startups by inclusion of courses. Entrepreneurship is there, project management is there, correct? Industrial visits, expert lectures, workshops. This will help to create an industry academia linkage, and the students will get on-hand training regarding the theoretical things which we are teaching them during our lectures, and practically what is actually happening in the industry. Use of various innovative instructional and implementation strategies, case-based learning, methods promoting use of online resources for developing analytical, creative, and critical abilities. The higher level of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domain abilities. Inclusion of professional elective courses, higher order labs, and enhanced engagement of industry at UG and PG level to widen skills so as to cope the requirement of world of work in line with 4.0.
Madam, I have made you a co-host. Now you
Okay,
can.
okay, sir.
Sorry,
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you very much.
Okay, madam.
Extremely sorry.
No
It's
issue, no issue.
really,
These
really
are the
hectic
things
over here.
we have to
That's
bear with these
completely
things on online course, ma'am.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
no
thank you.
issue. Okay.
Yes. So integration of emerging technologies such as AI, AR, VR, IoT, data science, and analytics, etc., appropriately. Then inclusion of open electives, which are specially related to pedagogy as special kind of features, or we can say the courses in the curriculum, right? Inclusion of mandatory audit courses such as environment, ethics, Indian culture and civilization, IKS, Indian Constitution, for overall development of scholars as per AICTE and NEP guidelines. Integration of industrial training, internship in semester gaps, and capstone project. We can call it as major projects too. In each program, inclusion of micro projects, different types of assignments, and other student centered activities like seminars are there, surveys are there, interviews of practicing professionals are there in each course to cope with the requirement of outcome attainment. That means, in short, what we can say, whatever curriculum is framed under this NEP is completely outcome based kind of learning for the students. Implementation of some of the courses through online MOOC courses to enhance learning and lifelong learning abilities. See here, given the emergence of digital technologies and the emerging importance of leveraging technology for teaching learning at all kind of levels from school to higher education, this policy recommends pilot studies for online education. We can say appropriate agencies such as IITs, NITs, IGNU, IGNOU, Open University, Indira Gandhi Open University, here I mean, etc., will be identified to conduct a series of pilot studies in parallel to evaluate the benefits of integrating education with online education while mitigating the downside, and also to study related areas such as student device addiction, most preferred formats of e-content, etc. The results of these pilot studies will be publicly communicated and used for continuous improvement. Appropriate existing e-learning platforms such as Swayam, Diksha, which I have already mentioned, will be extended to provide teachers with a structured, user-friendly, rich set of assistive tools for monitoring progress of learners. Tools such as two-way video and two-way audio interface for holding online classes are a real necessity as the present pandemic has shown. We everyone we all have experienced this one, right, during the pandemic situation. Again, a digital repository of content including creation of coursework, learning games, and simulations, augmented reality and virtual reality will be developed with a clear public system for ratings by user on effectiveness and quality. For fun-based learning, student-appropriate tools like apps, gamification of Indian art and culture in multiple languages with clear operating instructions will also be created. A reliable backup mechanism for uh, disseminating e-content to students will be provided. Existing e-learning platforms such as Swayam Prabha will also be leveraged for creating virtual labs so that all students have equal access to quality practical hands-on experiment-based learning. The possibility of providing adequate access to SEDGs students and teachers through suitable digital devices such as tablets and preloaded content will be considered and developed. Inbuilt mechanism for regular upgradation of curriculum by leveling all stakeholders and education auditors. So let's have a look at the structure. This national education policy aims at building a global best education rooted in Indian ethos and aligned with the principles of flexibility, multidisciplinary understanding, critical and creative thinking, ethics, human and constitutional values, capacity building in teachers, good governance and autonomy, respect for the diversity, equity, and inclusivity, and outstanding research transforming India into a global knowledge superpower. Correct? A total of 4 years or 8 semester UG program is there. First, we will consider the duration of UG program. Student can also do a 3-year UG program existing after the completion of the 3rd year, subject to a minimum credit over here. If a student leave after completing the 1st year, then they will be given a UG certificate. If they leave after 2 years, then they will be provided with the UG diploma. Students who exit with UG certificate or diploma are permitted to re-enter within 3 years and can complete the degree programs. The students are provided with breaks if they want, but the entire term for completing the UG program should exceed 7 years in totality. Should not exceed 7 years in totality. Correct? An academic year is consisting of 2 semesters, each of 90 working days. A special summer term for 8 weeks or 2 months, and the courses shall aid to enable the students to complete the special kind of courses too. The summer term courses will be designed as per the requirement and availability of the teaching faculty and resources as per the guidance of the respective HEIs. Internship, apprenticeship, anything shall be carried out during the summer term courses, which will be mandatory for all students, including the students who aim for an exit after 2nd or 4th semester of the study. If we are going to consider the verticals of NEP, very first comes the major. After major, the minor subjects are there. In case of major disciplines, the main or major subject will be the one in which the degree will be awarded. Students should secure prescribed number of credits, that is minimum 50% of the total, through core courses in the major discipline. In case of minor discipline, these are introduced to allow a student to gain a broader understanding beyond the major discipline. For obtaining a minor discipline, minimum 12 credits are required. Suppose, in case a student is from commerce background, if he chooses economics or any other discipline course as a minor, so how the degree will be allotted to him? For become accountancy subjects will be the major kind of, or commerce subject will be the major kind of for that particular student, and he is choosing economics as minor. BCom with economics as minor. This will be displayed on his degree. See, for example, a student pursuing a chemistry major obtaining a minimum credit of 12 from physics will get a BSc degree in chemistry with minor in physics. This is the example. Change of major. At the end of second semester, a student can decide either to continue with the previously chosen major or can request for a change in major. For that purpose, what kind of role the HERs are going to play, what kind of precautions they have to take, because some students are going to change their majors, some students are going to change their minors. For that purpose, HEIs may create an additional 10% seats over and above the sanction strength for this purpose. There must be a basket of possible minors along with a particular major. This is a requirement for 3 years degree in major discipline. The student has to complete 3 years with a minimum of 120 credits. Major 60, minor 24, multidisciplinary 9, ability enhancement courses 8, skill enhancement courses 9, value added courses 6 to 8, OJT, CC, and all those 2 to 4 credits. In case of 4 years UG degree, a minimum of 75 marks and above as aggregate must be secured after the completion of 6 semesters. That means 3 years to take honors with research. That means completely he required 160 credits with minimum 75% of marks. Major 80, minor 32, multi 9, ability enhancement course 8, skill enhancement courses 9, value added courses 6 to 8. Again, OJTs, CCs, all those things 2 to 4, and research project 12, which will be a research project and dissertation, which will be related to the major, whatever the major that particular student have choose. If we are going for a single major, needs to secure a minimum of 50% credits. And for 3-year UG, 60 credits. For 4-year, 80 credits. That means 160. In case of double majors, needs to secure a minimum of 40 credits from the second major discipline. For 3-year UG program, 48 credits. If total credits to be earned for the program is 120. For 4-year UG program, 64 credits in the second discipline. If total credits to be earned for the program is 160. In certain cases, students will have to do the additional credits for UG program with double majors. In case of interdisciplinary UG programs, credit of core course shall be distributed among the constituent disciplines. Core courses, economics, statistics, mathematics, etc. BSc in econometrics, it will be 3 years. BSc honors in econometrics, 4 years. Or BSc honors with research in econometrics, 4 years. Moving ahead towards the vocational education. According to ancient Indian philosophy, artha, that is economic value of wealth, kama, psychological values of pleasure, dharma, moral values, moksha, liberation, are 4 core values for better life. Right living is reached only through value education, which only stands against cardinal sins. Values are virtues, ideals, and qualities on which our actions and beliefs are based. Agree? Values are guided principles that shape our world outlook, attitudes, as well as our conduct. The moral values present a true perspective of the development of any society or nation. They tell us to what extent a society or nation has developed. If knowledge is left without being tempered by values and morals, the power generated by such knowledge would only be disastrous and catastrophic in its effects. Correct? Due to liberalization, industrialization, and globalization, rapid changes are occurring in almost all domains. The philosophical foundations of India need to be further strengthened. Hence, the goals and functions of formal education need to be readdressed. The traditional education system in India has primarily focused on textbook knowledge, while less on developing vocational knowledge and practical skills. NEP 2026 to change this scenario by shifting the paradigm from a road-based academic approach to a skill-based education system, as it recognizes the importance of vocational education and equips the student with the necessary skills to thrive in a rapidly evolving job market. The 12th five-year plan 2012 to 17 estimated that only a very small percentage of the Indian workforce in the age group of 19 to 24, which is less than 5%, received formal vocational education as compared to USA, Germany, South Korea. USA has 52%, Germany 75%, South Korea 96%. These numbers only underline the urgency of the need to hasten the spread of vocational education in case of India. This is the timeline for implementation of NEP. After vocational course, skill enhancement course, ability enhancement courses. These are also very important kind of skill enhancement courses are aimed at imparting practical skills, hands-on training, soft skills, etc. to enhance the employability of the students. The institution may design courses as per the students' needs and available institutional resources. These are 2 credit kind of courses. In case of ability enhancement courses, these courses aim to enhance knowledge through various areas of study. They can be categorized into 2 types: ability enhancement or the skill enhancement courses. After that comes the IKS or Indian Knowledge System. We are considering here the verticals of the curriculum framework. See, the Indian civilization is one of the most ancient civilization in the world. No one can deny the fact that Indians have made a remarkably great contribution to every sphere of the knowledge, right? Our universities of the ancient period, like Takshashila, Nalanda, etc., were internationally recognized centers of learning where the students from across the world used to visit to get themselves equipped with pedantry in various streams of knowledge, right? These universities not only provided the in-depth knowledge of Vedic texts and the rituals, but also the various theoretical disciplines that provided a foundation for these 2 pillars, the Vedangas or the sciences, literally limbs or supports of the Vedas. This including linguistics, reasoning, medicine, law, astronomy, and city planning. Sastra attempted to collect and represent distinct fields of knowledge such as law and ethics, dharma, shastra, economics and governance, artha shastra, drama and aesthetics, natya shastra, religious architecture, Vastu Shastra. The Bharatiya way is sustainable and strives for the welfare of all. It is important that we regain the comprehensive knowledge system of our heritage and demonstrate the Indian way of doing things to the world. This requires training generations of scholars who will demonstrate and exemplify to the world a way of life so unique and peculiar to our great civilization. The NEP 2020 recognizes this rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought as a guiding principle. The Indian knowledge systems comprise of Gyan, Vigyan, Jivan Darshan that have evolved out of experience, observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis. This tradition of validating and putting into practice has impacted our education, arts, administration, law, justice, health, manufacturing, and commerce too. This has influenced classical and other languages of Bharat that were transmitted through textual, oral, and artistic traditions. Knowledge of India, in this sense, includes knowledge from ancient India and its success and challenges, and a sense of India's future aspirations specific to education, health, environment, and indeed all aspects of life. The main objective of drawing from our past and integrating the Indian knowledge system is to ensure that our ancient systems of knowledge represented by unbroken tradition of knowledge, transmission and providing a unique perspective, that is Bharatiya Drishti, which is used to solve the current and emerging challenges of India and the world. The cultural heritage of India is immensely proliferated and enriched. This territory has diversity in its culture and religions. The languages, scripts, arts, cultural, philosophical, religious, mythological, and literary articulations, architectures, wellness, and yoga that evolved in India are always fascinating the people across the world. The various dance forms like Bharatnatyam, Kathakali, Odissi, Launi, Kuchipudi, all these narrate the bhav, karuna, bhakti, that is all the navrasas. Similarly, the Indian music, especially the gharanas. The Indian education system produced great scholars such as Chakra, Aryabhat, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Panini, among numerous others who made seminal contributions to the world knowledge in diverse fields. We know the fact that this Indian culture and philosophy have had a strong influence on the world. These rich legacies to the world heritage must be nurtured and preserved for prosperity and research enhance and to put new uses through our education system and to implement this vision. With this vision, UGC formulated incorporating the Indian knowledge system into the higher education curricula of our country, that is NEP 2020. As per the guidelines provided by the UGC, the NEP 2020 emphasizes much on IKS for the holistic development of the students. Studying IKS as part of modern education can foster interdisciplinary research, resulting a harmonious blend of various knowledge systems. This would include tribal knowledge and indigenous and traditional way of learning, and will cover and include maths, astronomy, philosophy, yoga, architecture, literature, sports, games, as well as governance, and so many such areas. Let's have a look at the structure. Are you able to see the structure? Okay. So very first we will consider the credit distribution structure for 4 years honors with research degree program. This is related to BSc. See, here we are having major scheme of 1:1. Major 1, minor, open electives, VSc, SEC, AEC, VEC, and IKS. Again, OJT, FP, CEP, RP, all those are there. Minimum credits for this particular year is, in case of semester 1, we are having 22 credits, and in case of semester 2, we are having 22 credits, correct? And if the student is going to drop in case of first year, certificate will be provided to that particular student. See, here in case of major, mandatory 6 credits will be there, 2 plus 2 plus 2. In semester 1, there is no minor subject. In case of semester 2, we are having minor subject bearing credits 2. Open electives 2 plus 2. Again, VSc, SEC, which is related to your major. Always the VSc and SEC, these two criterias we are correlating with the major. It is having 4 credits. Then AEC, VEC, and IKS, 4 credits, 2 each. CC, 2 credits. In a similar manner for semester 2, in case of semester 3, for major 8 credits will be awarded. For minor, semester 3 and semester 4, both the semesters will be having minor. Open electives, only 2 credits will be there. And in case of semester 3, VSc will be there, and in semester 4, SEC will be there. Again, in case of AEC, VEC, IKS, only AEC will be there. Then CC, FP, CEP, Scheme 2 with 2 major subjects. Mandatory 10, electives will be 4, minor will be 4. There will be no open elective. In case of 5 and 6, 7, 8, every year has 44 credits. And as the year are going on, the credits are going to change. Now here we are having 3 subject schemes, M1, M2, M3, 4 plus 4 plus 4. No open electives in case of semester 1. VSc, SEC, 4 credits. Similar to M1. Total 44 credits. Semester 2, open elective will be there, and instead of VEC IKS open electives and CC will be there. Again, the structure in case of semester 3 and 4 is changing. 4 plus 2. One theory subject will be there, one practical subject will be there as a major. In case of commerce, this is M1 model. Mandatory 2 plus 2 plus 2. Open electives 2 plus 2. VSC, SEC, AEC, IKS, VEC and CC. This is almost similar for every course. In case of humanities, mandatory for M1 pattern 4 plus 2. From VSC, SEC, again similar kind of structure. This is M1, M2. Open electives, which will be selected from the other faculty. M1, M2, M3 pattern. Major 1, Major 2, Major 3. So these are some of the structures. Then comes the on-job trainings, that is OJT, internship, field project, community engagement programs, that is CEP, research project, application of knowledge, concepts in solving or analyzing a real life problem. All these are related to the major subjects. Whenever OJTs or internships will be conducted or field projects will be given to the students, you have to correlate those with the majors which the students have chosen. CC, these are the co-curricular courses for the holistic development of the students through cultural activities such as performing art, visual art, NCC, NSS, yoga, etc. The CC is provided. It has 2 credits. Then comes the academic bank of credits. This is the most important factor. As per the National Education Policy 2020, the Academic Bank of Credits, that is ABC, has been envisaged to facilitate the academic mobility of the students with the freedom to study across the higher educational institutions in the country with an appropriate credit transfer mechanism from one program to another, leading to attain a degree, diploma, PG diploma, or whatever it may be. What are the different features of this ABC? This ABC allows academic institutions to lodge and maintain the integrity of the credits, maintains the authenticity and confidentiality of student credits, easy credit transfer through digital mode, faster credit recognition is also there. What kind of benefits are there for this academic bank of credits? It allows multiple entry, multiple exit for the students. Store student credit for a maximum shelf life of 7 years. Transfer credit through a single window after approval of source and destination academic institution. Only verified academic institutions can upload the credits. Improves transparency and helps to build a more flexible approach to curriculum design and development. The credits which are earned by the students will be deposited in their ABC account or academic account. If the student moves to a different institution, the accumulated credits get transferred to the account of the new institution. Credits may be transferred from an institution to be accumulated in any other program which is offered by the same or another institution. Once the credit is redeemed for the award of the above, it would be irrevocable, debited from the respective student's academic account of ABC. The use of ABC credits improves transparency and helps to introduce a more flexible approach to curriculum design and development. The institutional credit framework is aimed at to cater the needs of different programs and support inter and multidisciplinary approaches. Successful learning mobility requires academic recognition and transfer of credits. Recognition of credits is the process through which an institution certifies that learning outcomes achieved and assessed in another institution satisfy the requirements of one of the programs they offer, the accessibility options. This is all about the NEP. In a nutshell, what we can say, the National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. The policy proposes the revision of all aspects of educational structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with goals of 21st century education, while building upon India's traditions and value systems. The national education policy emphasizes the development of creative potential of each individual. It is basically supported on the principle that education must develop both foundational capacities of literacy, numeracy, and cognitive capacities, such as critical thinking and problem solving, in addition to building ethical, social, and emotional capacities and dispositions. This policy envisages that the extent 10+2 structure in school education will be modified with a new pedagogical and curricular restructuring covering the ages 3 to 18. Flexibility is provided to choose subjects across the streams. Till class 8, there will be 3 language policy with a preference for local language, medium of instruction. Each college would convert into an autonomous or fully integrated into a university and independent degree giving institution. Each higher education institution, whether college or university, would be governed by an independent board. And SAT-like colleges entrance tests will be conducted twice a year. Colleges are to adopt a 4-year multidisciplinary bachelor program. Top-rated global universities will be facilitated to come in India and top Indian institutions to be encouraged to go to global. The ray of hope has come through the new educational policy 2020, which talks about sustainable human development and universal education learning with equity and learning outcomes, with a research-oriented mindset as the cornerstone of all educational decisions. India has always placed education at the center of its development agenda. And with bridging the gender, social, regional gaps. With community participation, it will raise the spirit towards equal opportunities to all, ensuring equity in this policy. Any policy's effectiveness depends on its implementation. Implementation will require multiple initiatives and actions, and we are witnessing all those initiatives as well as the difficulties which we are facing to implement the NEP 2020, which will have to be taken by multiple bodies in sync. Therefore, the implementation of this policy will be led by various bodies. Right? This NEP 2020 is given the equivalence of Ashtanga development, as it is focusing on the 8 important pillars: curriculum development, multidisciplinary higher education institution, then internationalization of higher education, skill development, digitalization, student support, ability enhancement courses, value education courses, reforms in case of evaluation and assessment, and the compliance of NEP 2020. That's it from my side. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Abdul sir, over to you. Any doubts?
So any question, participants, you can write down in chat box. Yes.
Abdul sir, I think no any kind of questions. Okay, thank you everyone for being the patient listener. I hope I have cleared the doubts whichever you are having regarding the NEP 2020. Once again, I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to conduct this session. Thank you very much.